Alright guys, last Saturday the new season patch notes were publicly released, and since the stuff announced back then was worth checking out once implemented within Asphalt Legends, today I will be giving out you all guys my fair thoughts in regards to the new EVO upgrades and why do I think those are a really bad idea. There is plenty of fabric to cut, so let's get into it. I will be mad honest with you all guys, I always try to be. I do really think that we have just reached what it seems to be a point of no return. In a not too distant future, we will remember this update as the one where everything started going to hell when it came to Asphalt Legends, so please take a seat, grab some popcorn and make sure to watch until the end, because if you have been a somewhat constant Asphalt Legends player through the years, you will definitely want to remember the moment everything started to go downhill. So why am I being so pessimistic? Why am I lowering my expectations in regards to this game future well beneath my previous limits? Well, because the feature I am about to describe is the reason why many people started quitting other racing games in the past, and based on what I have seen, I am quite certain Asphalt Legends will not follow a different path. Today is, as I like to call it, the beginning of the end, the day EVO upgrades were introduced into Asphalt Legends. Let's start from the very beginning, right when this game was globally released as Asphalt 9 Legends. In order to be able to get the best performance out of a car, you had to, first of all, get all the blueprints required to upgrade said car to its full stars, and second, grab all the required epic import parts to gold that car. Once your car was golden, this is with all the specific epic import parts applied, you could use it knowing it would offer the best performance possible for that specific car, and it was up to you and your skills to do the best with said performance on multiplayer events and that stuff. But then everything changed. Approximately a year ago, the overclock boost was introduced into Asphalt, what it used to be Asphalt 9 Legends. This overclock boost, available either through a time-limited pass you had to buy with real money in order to enjoy the benefits it offered, or either through the overclock chips you could use to boost an individual car, helped you to temporarily push the performance a car could offer well beyond the maximum level of upgrades you could apply to said car. However, it's worth noting that it was a boost highly favorable for those willing to pay and to spend real money, since if you are a free-to-play player, there is not nearly enough free overclock chips for you to keep the pace with those who paid either the overclock pass or the bundles with extra overclock chips you could get with real money. I mean, this overclock thing wasn't good on its own, but now that I look at it from a wider range, I can see that maybe this is what helped gameloft to test the waters and see how many players could be willing to pay an extra money to have a better performance on their cars, even if it was temporary and locked behind a paywall most of the time. After seeing this EVO tuning, I would not be surprised if I saw the overclock disappearing from the game in the near future, since it provides basically what the EVO tuning does, but by a much cheaper price. But how does this EVO tuning works, and why does it represent the beginning of the end? Okay, so once you completely upgrade to max and gold a car, you will be able to access the EVO upgrades, just like it happened on Asphalt 8 back in the old days, where you had to max a car before having access to the pro upgrades. Well, guess what ended up happening, by the way? Nowadays, Asphalt 8 cars only have pro upgrades, not max anymore. Anyways, once you max a car and unlock the EVO upgrades, you get 4 EVO tickets, exclusive only for said car. You can't use those EVO tickets you unlocked on any other car. With those tickets I have just mentioned, you can pick an item from a screen with a specific amount of squares, and behind each square there is an EVO part. You can apply those EVO parts in order to boost a stat of your car, from nitro efficiency to air speed, or how light or heavy your car feels in regards to handling. But here's the thing. The EVO cards you can unlock with the tickets I have just mentioned are completely random, meaning you have to get more tickets in order to try your luck in order to get better parts to apply for your car. Sure thing, they have said that there will be parts available on multiplayer rewards, just like there were epic wildcards on the last update, but rest assured guys, they will end up obviously nerfing the multiplayer rewards, so you will see parts of worse cars, because that's another thing mentioned on this new season patch notes. On this new season, there will be 3 cars available to apply EVO upgrades, the Chevrolet Camaro LT, the Ferrari Enzo Ferrari and the Bugatti Chiron, which means you will be able to obtain cars for said cars within the Legends Pass, offers and multiplayer rewards. The parts available on multiplayer rewards could be the Camaro LT ones, who knows. The EVO upgrades are permanent and not bound to any season or update timings, and obviously we can apply said upgrades to 3 cars because if for any reason all cars were available right now, it would be an absolute mess. Matter of fact, the developers removed the Bugatti Chiron from the overclock event, the previous update, because otherwise it could be relevant within this season and there should be an overclock boost for it, so I am quite certain that overclock is not compatible with these EVO upgrades, which will likely reinforce my theory that the overclock days are numbered at this point. As I personally see it, I don't really think that for an arcade game as Asphalt Legends is nowadays, introducing an upgrade system like this one is complicated, where you need tickets to get parts with lag in order to upgrade stats most of the players don't fully understand is nothing but completely complicated and just unnecessary. This is a game where most of the players come to have fun and chill, not to make Excel spreadsheets about which part is the best for a car they already spent time, effort and sometimes even money to max out. I do not see how allowing some users to max their cars even further and abuse players with way less tokens makes this game a better game. I also don't get how making these new parts available by both tokens and lag, which basically increases exponentially the total amount of tokens and effort needed to achieve optimal performance on a singular car, is making this game any funnier or better. And let's remember the best part. All of this inside of a game with over 300 cars at this point. In my honest opinion, I do honestly think this is making the game more complicated, far steeper for newcomers to progress and start playing, and way too beneficial for those willing to spend real money on this game. This is not making this game any better, but unfortunately, it allows us to see how the developers seem to follow the path Asphalt 8 started back when they introduced the pro upgrades over there. I have a heartbeat that these upgrades will ultimately decide how good a car is, rather than the base stats we can upgrade with credits and epic import parts. Some people have tried to tune the Bugatti Chiron and there are some configurations that make this car way too broken, reaching up to 92 acceleration points. Lag will decide who gets the parts to make a monster out of the Bugatti Chiron, for example, and who will have to spend thousands of tokens to keep trying to find the best parts. Now my tokens reach has shrunk significantly, and if the pace continues, in less than a year I could be well out of tokens, both because of the amounts required to max cards and also for the insane cost these upgrades have. So it's safe to assume that the future is fairly grim for anyone with less tokens than I do. I am starting to feel quite hopeless in regards to my future on this game because I am afraid this is the tipping point. Gameloft seems to have spent a ton of resources and time into this feature, so I am quite sure they won't remove it at all, making Asphalt Legends more like a sim racing rather than a full arcade product. But anyways, those were my first thoughts in regards to this brand new feature, and I would really like to know your first impressions as well, so make sure to let me know in the comment section. Gameloft might obviously not like this video, but I do really think this is more of a mistake rather than an improvement for this game. Make sure to drop your like, subscribe in order to not miss absolutely anything about Asphalt Legends, and I will see you really soon as usual with much more content. Goodbye guys.